All right, U.S. history. Hope y'all had a good weekend. This will be a short week. My understanding is, I know Friday is Good Friday, and my understanding is we will not have class on that day. I would say we're out of school on Friday, but technically we're out of school today, even though we're having class. So keep that in mind. You'll have a 4-day week this week. Now, here's what I want you to do by the end of the week. Okay? You will see listed in this assignment some topics. I want you to pick one. I'm going to discuss all of those in just a moment. But I want you to pick a topic. Then this week, I want you to find some sources that back up your research. Now, I did change my mind. If you want to use 1 to 2 YouTube videos in your other sources, that's fine. But you will have to cite them, and we're going with APA. I will have the rubric out this week, but we're not going to have to worry about it right now. But what I want you to do is find some sources. Now, don't just use YouTube videos. Find some research online, some good websites, history websites that have some information on these things. And once you Google these topics, you'll see all kinds of resources that are available to you. Here are the topics, and I'm going to go through them real quick. You pick which one you want. Now, what I want to know by the end of the day, and I know some of you, 3 or 4 may pick one topic, but I've tried to pick some very interesting ones. There's only one that I think would not be that interesting. It is to me, but some of y'all will think it's boring. But we did talk about it a lot in class. You could actually cite your hat looks crooked. You could actually cite your textbook as one of your sources for some of the info in there, but it's very limited. You could go in depth on this. Here are the 11 topics I have picked, because I believe there are 11 students in here. If I may be wrong, maybe I need to double check, but I believe that's right. But either way, I know some of you are going to pick the same topics. That's okay. Just don't correspond with each other and help each other out and write each other's paper. That's all I ask. Okay, one of the topics, Salem witch trials. The whole Salem witch debacle. Very interesting, very dark period in our history, and be a very unique topic. Going back to the very beginnings of the foundings of this nation, Roanoke, Croatoan on a tree. What happened to them? Where did they go? And once you research that, very fascinating. Slavery in general. Now, on slavery, you could talk about how it got its start, because it wasn't America that started slavery in America. It was other countries, other empires. It could be more focused on the Middle Passage. It could be more focused on life in America. You could do an overall conglomeration of slavery, or you could go toward the end of slavery, was slavery falling apart, the system of slavery in the United States toward the Civil War. It could be about the freeing of the slaves. There's a wide spectrum there you could choose, but slavery is one of those. The Salem witch trials, Roanoke, slavery, prohibition. We talked about this some in class, and there is some information in your textbook. Prohibition, why it didn't work the way it was supposed to, and you could come from the standpoint of, you agree with prohibition, you don't agree with prohibition, but you could get into gangsters, you could get into moonshining, all of those aspects of prohibition. Another one, JFK assassination. Some of the theories out there. Don't go too dark, don't go into some of the weird websites, but some of the theories that were out there, you could look at some of the reports that came out after his assassination. You could talk about how the Secret Service today, the JFK assassination wouldn't have happened because of all the safeguards that they take. But JFK assassination. One that is very fascinating, I remember this, I stayed up the night this election occurred till 2:30 in the morning. To watch it. I remember shedding a tear because at the time they had said that Gore won the election, and it brought a tear to my eye because I was worried about America. Come to find out, Bush won. But the Bush versus Gore election, look that up, Bush versus Gore election. That's George W. Bush. and very fascinating. Got thrown to the Supreme Court. Great election to talk about. Plenty of information there. The Trail of Tears. The Trail of Tears is another one that would be a great topic. Very interesting. A lot of local history behind the Trail of Tears. You can talk about the origins of it. You can talk about what the Native Americans went through. Just all kinds of aspects there. Speaking of Native Americans, Wounded Knee. Wounded Knee. Look it up. Very fascinating. The largest mass shooting in American history. So you can look that one up. It would be very interesting, very sad part of the American history landscape. Also, one of the greatest achievements ever in America, the Transcontinental Railroad. You could talk about the way it started on either end. We talked about this in class. The companies behind it, the government backing of it, and the way they were giving away land like it was going out of style. The Transcontinental Railroad. Also, the Iran hostage crisis. Your book has some on this. This is the one topic that I figure some of y'all will look at and be like, boring. But it's not. It was a very fascinating chapter in America. You could talk about some of the things that we got out of the Iran hostage crisis as far as news coverage. You could talk about how we worked behind the scenes, some of the things that we tried to do to get the hostages freed, why they were finally released, all of that good stuff. Plenty of information there. The last one, Chappaquiddick, has to do with Ted Kennedy, Edward Kennedy, and something he did in Chappaquiddick. Now, don't go into a lot of heinous details as far as Ted Kennedy, and he's just a terrible person, or was a terrible person, in my opinion. But Chappaquiddick, and you can look that up. There are several great sources on that, several great websites on that. Those are topics that you can choose from for this paper. But I want, by Thursday, I want some sources, and I want you to list those for me. And I will have the rubric up here either tomorrow or the next day for you to go by as far as writing your paper, how long it's got to be, the format. I know it'll be APA, but different things like that. But this week, you're going to start gathering information. Next week, you're going to start writing your paper. This week, you need to be finding sources that you can use. You need to be studying up on it. What you need to do in order to write this is to, first of all, fill your mind full of knowledge on the topic. That way, when you're writing, it's kind of free-flowing. You're not just looking at this source and then, okay, I'm back over here, and you're typing, and I'm reading this source, and I'm going to type a sentence. Know the information before you go to write it down. It makes it a lot easier. But by the end of the week, I'll need the name of those sources. By the end of the day today, I need your topic. So if you'll just send me your topic, 2 words, 3 words, whatever it is, 1 word, Chappaquiddick, boom, okay. And what we will do is we're going to put together a paper, and I'm going to help you along the way getting it done. If you have any questions, ask me. But I think that will be better than just assigning one topic for the whole class. That way you get to choose something that is very interesting to you. So get that done today. Pick your topic. Start working on your sources. Start either printing some out, saving them, copying and pasting. Make sure if you're copying and pasting off a source, by the way, like YouTube, for instance, you find a video on the Salem witch trials on YouTube, or something along that line. Make sure you copy. Go ahead and bookmark it. Do all that stuff where you can keep up with it. But you'll need to know who put the video up there, when it was posted, all that stuff, when it was accessed. So if you access it on Tuesday, you'll need to note that you got your original source for this on Tuesday, April the whatever it will be. So make sure you keep up with all that. I will go ahead and create me a document where you can cut and paste or copy and paste all of this stuff in there, and it makes it easier to keep up with. Hope you're doing well. Miss y'all, and it was good to see you on Friday. And we're going to work through this and get it done. Hopefully it won't be as painful as you looked the other day when I told you we were going to do a paper, the ones I could see. All right, we will talk to you periodically this week. If you have any questions, let me know.